wasn't just the elves I worried about. The nets also worked on angels. I had few friends in Aaru, and with the conflict heating up in the heavenly homeland, the day would come when a few would probably try to take me down. That day was most likely coming sooner rather than later. It had happened before. Nyala had managed to nab and restrain one of them in a very admirable manner, but I couldn't count on the girl's luck holding out. Although, come to think of it, Nyala was a very, very lucky girl. No doubt the fates felt they owed her quite a bit after allowing her to be snatched from her cradle and spend the first 18 years of her life as an elven slave. Which made me realize it probably wasn't Nyala I needed to worry about. She had an 18-year grudge. That was a whole lot of vengeance. Maybe I should hide the kitchen knives and warn the elves. There. I was free, blinking up at the sun, haloing a young woman with dark blonde hair and a broad grin. My girl. Mine. I didn't care whose child or sister she was. She was mine. And if the elves disputed my claim, I had the receipts to prove it. You're late, she reminded me. I was. Not that the angels weren't used to it by now. Although if I delayed much longer, Gregory would come and get me, and I wasn't sure I wanted to make my case before the ruling council with an elven net dangling from my hips. So I kicked the thing off and transported myself to the Marriott conference room, where the angels insisted on holding the meetings. Nice bikini. Raphael winked at me. The others scowled at my attire. They were dressed as if it were a casual Friday at the office. Neatly pressed dark jeans or khaki pants with polo shirts buttoned to the top. I had on a skimpy string bikini, white covered with bright red kissy marks. It was pretty cute, if I did say so myself, and if I jumped up and down a bit, it was liable to fall off my body. I'd been naked at ruling council meetings before. The angels didn't seem to care, but I was willing to give it another try. Anything to liven up the dull agenda that generally kept us cooped up in the conference room until past nightfall. It was then I realized there was one angel missing who, although he might not give my lack of sufficient clothing the enthusiastic response of Rafi, would have been nonplussed by it. Where was Gregory? It wasn't like him to be late to anything, and I pouted to realize I wasn't the last to the table. Gabe was missing too. As much of a stickler for the rules as that angel was, he should have been here half an hour early, organizing chairs and ensuring the whiteboards were sparkling clean. Weird. Still, I was the first to the food and coffee. The angels refused to sully their vibration patterns with such things, and I'd asked the hotel staff to step it up from their usual pastries. Knowing I was the only one who'd partake, I yanked the scalding hot metal bin from the serving stand, hauling the entire stash of bacon over to my seat. I might be all about sin, but letting perfectly good bacon go to waste wasn't one I was about to indulge in. I was making a serious dent in the contents of the tub when Gregory arrived, Gabriel by his side. Neither looked at me or said a word, taking their seats and shuffling through papers along with the other angels. I didn't expect Gabe to pay attention to me, but Gregory never entered a room without at least a quick glance of acknowledgement in my direction. It drove the other angels nuts that he constantly reaffirmed our bond every time we met, that he clearly took my side over the others. This change bothered me. Not that I thought he felt any differently about our relationship. Instead, I got the feeling that there was something else on his mind, something terribly worrisome. Everything okay? I asked him through our mind speak. No. He shuffled the papers, still not looking at me. A muscle twitched in his jaw. We'll talk later, after the meeting. That didn't sound good. Gregory had been spending more time in Aaru the last few months. I'd kept my mouth shut, figuring that he was helping Gabriel with the transition of duties, but I couldn't help but notice the tension and prickly nature of the ruling council meetings lately. I missed him. This whole thing was supposed to leave more time open for me, for us, yet we seem to have less time together now than we had 6 months ago. I pouted. No one noticed, so I ate more bacon. Then Gabe called the meeting to order with a weird roll call in a formal language that seemed like he'd gotten it out of Robert's Rules of Order. He'd probably written Robert's Rules of Order.